Hey, everybody. Today we're talking about the tools that I currently use in my business. Sometimes it's nice to hear about what other successful business owners are using, the softwares that they're using, and the tools they use to operate the business. So this will be part of a two-part series, Tools I'm Currently Using in My Business, Part 1. Stick around. You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss Jakubovic.
So I love to run my business smoothly, carefreely, organizedly. Basically, I like to have a very well-oiled machine approach to running my business. And I can't do that as a one-woman show, especially not in the level of business that I am today. So I have not only a very large team supporting me, but I also have tools and softwares that I use that allow me to step away from the laptop once in a while, which is nice. And I wanted to open that up, pull the curtain back, and show you, or at least explain to you, what I use, which softwares I use, which tools I use that help run my business a whole lot smoother. Now, there's so many of these tools. So this podcast episode and the following podcast episode will be dedicated to this. Keep in mind, depending on what level of business you are in, you may not need any of these tools, or maybe you just want to pick out one of them. But they do cost money. And so you want to make sure you're at a certain level in your business where you're able to make monthly payments or at least annual payments for all of these softwares. The first one I use is Slack. I absolutely love Slack. It got introduced to me a couple of years ago. And when I found it, I was just in shock that I had not ever heard of it or used it up until that point. It was really eye-opening, a little bit life-changing. This is basically a way to communicate with my team. Up until that point where I discovered Slack, I was using Facebook Messenger to talk to my team. And I get hundreds of DMs every day. And so the DMs coming in from my team were sometimes falling through the cracks. Not only that, it was a one-to-one relationship. It was me speaking to team member A, me speaking to team member B, me speaking to team member C, and there wasn't a lot of collaboration between team members A, B, and C. And if I wanted to create collaborations where we're having a conversation or something like that, I would then need to create another Facebook Messenger that included all three of us or all four of us in there. And then there were so many chats going on and it was very complicated. I'd had to bookmark the chats and put them in a folder called My Team. And that's the way we communicated because everyone on my team is all over the world. We're in different time zones. And we work on different things inside the business. So when Slack was introduced to me, I was really excited because it's basically Facebook Messenger in its own platform only for your team. And in there, you can share images or videos or links, and it's all archived, and you can search by keywords to find old conversations. Team members can communicate with each other. There are different threads that you can have based on topics and categories, and it's really organized, and it's a great way to stay on top of things. I use it on my desktop, and I use it on my phone, and so does the rest of my team. The next one is Zoom. I love Zoom, and when the pandemic came around and everyone jumped on the Zoom bandwagon, I felt I had a very big advantage because I had been using Zoom several years before that. So I knew a lot about Zoom. Now, since the pandemic and Zoom becoming so popular, things have changed, more tools and features have been added, and that's really exciting. So one thing to know is that if you have a software or a platform or something that you're using for a long period of time, it's going to change over time, and if you stay with it, you're going to really understand it. It's going to feel like home, and that's how I feel with Zoom. I use Zoom for speaking to clients, speaking to my team if I have meetings, really scheduling anything I need to have a face-to-face interaction. I lead some classes on Zoom, both with video and also just audio without the video. And it's a great way to record. So you could use this for your discovery sessions, your sales calls, your coaching sessions. You can talk to prospects. You can have collaboration meetings with other people in your industry. It's a great tool and I absolutely love it. There's different levels to this as well. So you can use the free version, you can use the paid version. I would like to make a side note that all of these have a free version or a paid version. But when you go to the paid version, of course, so many more features are open to you. We currently have 2 different Zoom licenses so that I can use Zoom at the same time as someone else on my team who might be operating a coaching call with some of our clients. And so we have 2 different licensing for that. And then we also have the licensing for running a webinar. So that's another tier that you can add on. And then you can decide how many people do you want to allow to your webinar. And the price goes up based on that. But what I really love about Zoom is that you're not locked into anything. For example, if I'm going to run a webinar this month and I'm going to run another webinar 3 months from now, I don't need to pay for it in the interim. I can pay just for 1 month and then cancel just for the webinar level. And then I can pay again for the webinar a different month. So it's really flexible and you can decide what fits your business best. The next software that I love is Thinkific. And I've actually included in the show notes below a link to give you a free 14-day trial. And you can also get a free basic level Thinkific account. Thinkific is how I deliver my course material and my resources, my kits. I sell a lot of business building and mindset kits on our website at melissmarketing.com/shop, and all of these are hosted in Thinkific. The reason why I love Thinkific over any of the other competitors is because the competitor websites are this all-in-one platform where if you're already using other softwares, you kind of have to start from scratch and fit your business into that platform. What I love about Thinkific is that it works well with all the other softwares that I've already used and established over several years. And so I can use however little or however much I want to of Thinkific. And instead of me shoving my business into a software and trying to make it fit, the software fits very nicely into my business. And I'm able to give clients different access to different programs and kits that I have. And there's so many features in there and it's absolutely amazing. I can take payments from there as well. So I highly recommend Thinkific, and in the show notes below, there is a link to get you a free trial. Are you tired of trying to figure things out on your own and then finding expensive solutions online? I've got just the thing for you. Check out all my business building and mindset kits. They're jam-packed with value. Starting at just $7, they'll help you take the actionable steps you need to get your business moving in the right direction. Visit learn.abundantstrategy.com to see the ever-growing collection of kits. Happy learning! Trello. Trello is my project management system. It's probably one of the very first softwares I began using, and it's totally free. Now, there are levels where you can spend more money and add more team members onto different boards, but this is basically a visual representation of mind mapping what's inside of your brain, and I use it all the time. So you can have a board, which is the main category of what you're organizing. Within the board, you have lists. So you have separate categories within the umbrella category. And inside each list are little different cards. And you can color code them and you can make labels and you can drag and drop them from one list to the other and even from one board to the other. But anything I've ever created was created first inside Trello. That goes for every kit, every course, every online program, every webinar. It's all created here. In fact, all of my notes for my podcasts and all my live videos and even scheduling content is all created here within Trello. I use Trello as my CRM, as a way to keep track of all of my leads. I use Trello to mind map and plan out big events. I once did, on a personal level, a family heirloom book for my children with all the family tree for generations and generations back, and I organized it all within Trello. I absolutely love Trello. I have hundreds and hundreds of boards, and I don't even have an affiliate link to offer you. I am just speaking freely from my experience. I absolutely love Trello. It has organized my business better than any other singular app or software that I've ever used, and I highly recommend it. Coming up in tied place with Trello is Canva. I use Canva every single day in my business. I've known about Canva for years and years. When they first opened, I hopped on the Canva train right away. Canva is a way for you to feel like a graphic designer and produce really awesome, worksheets, workbooks, slides, social media posts, business cards, anything that you need to create digitally, you can create in Canva. And I absolutely love it because there's so many templates. So if you don't know what color scheme is best or what fonts to use, or you just don't have that artistic eye, you could use a template from Canva and change it to your branding, your colors, your fonts, add in your logo, and you're good to go. And you can download it as a PDF, a JPEG, a PNG, and it's always evolving. Canva is always listening to the comments of their users and adding in new features. So now there's video that's available. You can do your reels in there. You can edit video, very basic, just trimming the front end and the back end of the videos, but you can zoom in, you can change colors, there's different effects, and it's really easy to use. And I use this both on my phone when I'm on the go and also, of course, on my desktop. There's a free version, which is very robust, and there's a paid version for, I think, $10 to $12 a month, and highly, highly, highly recommend upgrading because it's totally worth it. We also use Gsuite in my business. Gsuite is Google. So I'm using Google Drive, I'm using Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Documents. I love using Google because it's a live document and I can share these folders or documents or spreadsheets with people on my team or my clients. And when we make changes on them and we go back and forth, those changes are live in real time. I can see the changes. In fact, when, for example, I'm with my copywriter and we're talking on the phone and I've got the document pulled up on my computer and she has the document pulled up on her computer, I can see where she is in the document. The cursor is pink. For me, I see her being pink in my document and she might see me being blue in her document. So we can talk about where we are in the document and work through things together. When my clients submit homework, for example, to me through my Marketing with Intention program, I could make comments in the margins that they can see and they can choose to accept them or change things. So there's great ways to make edits or suggestions. And it's just really wonderful to have a live document instead of having a Word document, for example. You send it to me, I download it, I make changes, I resave it, I send it to you. Now there's 2 different versions floating around and we can go back and forth 10 times with different versions and now we have 10 different versions of this document and we can't be working on it simultaneously. I also love that we can create sharing with different people in different ways. So we can share documents to the public where everyone can see it with the link, or only specific people with email addresses. You can send documents where people can view it, but they can't edit it, or they can edit it just like you were the admin on it and you can edit it. You can share who's the owner of the document. So a lot of great creative things happen within Gsuite, and it's a great way to store a lot of my backup files in Google Drive just to have it up there in the cloud. Voxer. Now, I love Voxer. I used to be really against Voxer. Voxer is an app on the phone, although you can access it on the computer, and I do that sometimes. But it's basically a walkie-talkie style communication app. So you could send voice messages to people, and if we're both in the app at the same time, they're listening to it in real time as though we're talking on the phone. And this is actually how I speak to my team all day long, because if I'm in a meeting and they message me, that voice message will be waiting there for me. And when I'm done with the meeting, I can just hit play and I can hear their message. However, if we're both on at the same time, we can have a back and forth conversation. Now, this is very different from other voice messaging apps because, for example, in WhatsApp, which I also use, but only for personal, not for business, I will leave a voice message for someone and they don't hear it in real time. So if I'm leaving a 1-minute message, then I have to wait a full minute while they're listening to the 1-minute message. Then they might respond with a 1-minute message and I'm waiting a total of 2 minutes just to get a response. And if we're having a whole conversation that way, you're spending a lot of time waiting in between each message. Whereas in Voxer, because it's like a walkie-talkie, it's happening in real time if you're both on the app and you're not wasting any time. You're having just a flowing conversation. You can also send images through the app and you can star certain messages so you can go back and listen to them again and save them in case you speak a lot on Voxer and you wanted to listen to something from 2 weeks ago. You can star it and save it. And there's a lot of great features. Again, it's a free app with some upgrades if you wanted to pay for them. And that's how I communicate with my team. The last tool that I want to share with you is Camtasia. Camtasia does not have a free version. It is a video editing software that I absolutely love, and I'm in almost every day editing things for Marketing with Intention or any of my training videos or any of the resources that I put out, including all of my business building and mindset kits, which I will link below in the show notes as well. Camtasia is a very professional version of video editing with a million features. And if you have the most recent version, you get a lot of cool features because, again, Camtasia does listen to their users. So if we have suggestions, they try to implement them on the next upgrade. I've been using Camtasia for years, and I'm not a professional video editor, but I feel like one, and I've learned a lot, and you can always search YouTube videos, or you can find people on Fiverr to help you if you get stuck, and I've actually taught myself how to be a pretty good video editor. I wouldn't say I'm phenomenal, but in a pinch, I can pop in and I can edit something, no big deal, and I usually do that. Sometimes we have a video editor on the team that I'll utilize for the business kits, for example, but for quick little things I don't need to pay someone to do. I can just get it done within 5 seconds, and that's through Camtasia. So all of these tools are really important behind the scenes of Meliss marketing. And if any of these spark your interest, I recommend you go check them out. This is only half of the list. So I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next podcast episode where I'll go through the second half of the list of tools that I currently use in my business.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Oh wait, before you go, I've got a super special invitation for you, so listen up. Join thousands of spiritual women, entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, and business owners in a cozy community to learn effective and aligned strategies to grow and scale your business through organic marketing and so much more. And for a limited time, when you join my free community, you will also get a free copy of my book, Abundance of Aligned Clients and Consistent Income. Join the Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs community at spiritualwomenentrepreneurs.com to claim all your free gifts. See you on the inside.